All right, I am reconvening to open session the regular meeting of Fairview District 72 Board of Education. It's December 20th, 2023 at 7:02 p.m. We already have established that we have a quorum. Please ensure that you've silenced your phone and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. All right, we got the Marine bringing in the flag. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Can I have a motion and a second to move into the public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Secretary, would you please call roll call vote?
Sargon Gilliana,
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde,
Mrs. Boujde is on the phone and we can't hear her.
Do we
So
know?
let's take a moment to let Patrick adjust the sound. Would you like to move on to the other board members that are at the table?
Sashi Phillip,
Yes.
I can't hear anything. I can barely hear anything.
Christine Soika, yes. Jacqueline
Thank you.
Boujde, Estera Tamuda,
Yes,
Jacqueline Boujde, Raphael Kavor,
Yes.
All right, Mr. Farrer, can you please come up to explain to the podium these matters?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a load of the speaker. Yeah, so at last month's board meeting, we had oh my gosh, sorry about that. The tentative tax levy. Typical practice in our district has been to present the tentative tax levy in November and then adopt in December, and not requiring a public hearing because we typically stay under the 5% threshold in which you need a public hearing. Due to the large CPI increase over the course of the last 2 years, we've decided to instead go through a different process, which was to hold a public hearing because we are going over that 5% threshold because CPI is over that 5% threshold. I'm not going to go through everything from the last board meeting, but I will highlight a few things. Nothing has changed from the increase that we presented in the last board meeting. Again, there's a look at the CPI over the last 2 years. In 2022, it was 7. This year, it's 6.5. Next year, it's trending at about 3.1. It's fluctuating between 3.1 to 3.4. We'll know at the end of this month what that's looking like for next year. But again, we have not seen this large of an increase in CPI in the history of PTEL in the property tax extension limitation law. So to have it in back-to-back years is quite unique. Last year, we decided to forego going over the 5% increase because we do get a 3% increase from the county for a loss in collections, as well as low new property, which is also factored into our equation. This year, we wanted to be sure to capture it because we don't envision seeing this increase for quite some time. These out. Just go through a breakdown. Again, we get a large amount of our property from commercial, not from residential in our district. Our tax rate, again, compared to other districts in our township, remains relatively low. We're the second lowest now behind Culver. Hopefully we beat Culver at something else tonight, and we'll get an update soon. Total EAV, we just had the reassessment in our district. and it went up, which is fantastic. And there's a look at our EAV versus our tax rate. Again, the important thing to remember in all of this is that we are limited by the amount that we can ask from our taxpayers. We cannot ask for more than 5%. Even if cost of CPI goes up more than that, we can't ask for more than that. We also don't determine the cost of property in our district. We don't determine that. So when people say, oh, the district raised our taxes, well, no, it's the equation that really did it, and it's the property values that drive it. If you look there, we saw a 13% increase in valuation of property in the district. The extension that we're looking at potentially is 5.1, and that's still a 7% decrease in our tax rate for our taxpayers. There's a look at our tax rate over time, which again has remained relatively low. You'll see the purple on that graph. That's for debt service that's been issued. The debt coming back on the books in 21 was due to the construction project. There's a look at the timeline and where we sit today. This fund balance disclosure is something we need to disclose now due to a public act. It shows the end of where we were at 23, current where we are now, and then where we will be after the 24 budget. This is simply to disclose these fund balances while we're approving the revenue coming into the district. And there's a look at what we're asking for tonight. Again, that middle in the gray is the tentative levy. It's 7.11%. Again, what that means is that we're trying to capture any new property. A lot of these are unknown variables. We're trying to capture any new property that comes into the district that we don't know about. We don't know what the property value is going to be next year. We don't know what the new property is. We are simply basing this off of a pair of unknowns right now. We're trying to go off of trends in the past and what we foresee could happen. That last column, the projected extension, is what I envision could happen based on past trends, and that's a 5.71% change. But again, we don't control this. We submit this to the county. The county then tells us in the summer, or if it was like this year, November, what it's going to be the next year. Again, the CPI was down 5.5%. We do not see a lot of new property as it relates to overall property in our district. Not a lot of areas to build new. There's some tear downs, some commercial properties that change. The $28 million that we're projecting in the levy to capture that new property would be the most new property we've had in the last 10 years is about 12.4. There's a levy recommendation, which is 7.11% of the capped extension, 6.36% overall. The amount that we're paying for debt service is already built in when we issued that debt. So we don't ask for more. That's already controlled. It's over the truth in taxation, which is why we're having the public notice. The CPI is trending at about 3.1. And then again, the important reminder, the district's requesting money is not the driver of higher taxes for homeowners. At the end of the night, when we approve the levy, there's also be a second approval item. What that is the supplemental levy. That supplemental levy is related to the debt service that we issued. Because at the time of the issue, interest rates were different. We need to be sure to capture that amount to make sure that we're paying off that when those bills come due. The amount is about $20,000. And that is it for the evening. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Fair. Are there any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience on this topic? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Secretary, can you please call roll call vote?
Sargon Guiliana,
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde, Raphael Kabor,
Yes.
Saji Philip,
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Estera Tamuda.
Yes.
Okay. The public hearing is closed. We are now going to reconvene to the regular meeting. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes of November 15th, 2023?
So moved.
A second. Are there any corrections or comments regarding the minutes? No. Okay. Well, all of those in favor say aye.
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 Opposing, say nay. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next, we have the approval of the payment of the bills. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $1,372,115.47?
So moved.
I'll second.
Are there any questions regarding the bills? Okay, Secretary, can you please roll call vote?
Sargon Gudiana,
Yes?
Raphael Kabor,
Yes.
Saji Philip,
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Esther Tamuda,
yes,
Jacqueline Boujde,
Bills are approved. Do you have a representative from the PTA that would like to report to the board?
Hi, it's been pretty quiet at the PTA. There's really not much been going on. But we did just end some of the sponsored clubs that the PTA helps sponsors. And I know the boys enjoyed them very much. A big thank you to the teachers who come in early for these clubs and stay late for these clubs. I know the boys, a lot of kids do appreciate them. We have a PTA winter celebration classroom parties tomorrow, K through 4. So I know a lot of kids and parents who are going to be joining the classrooms are excited. Our next general PTA meeting is January the 11th at 7 p.m. And our very famous winter dance and bingo is January the 26th. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Does anyone from the board or administration have any good news to share from the district?
Yeah, hi, good evening. We've had a really busy, awesome 4 weeks here leading up to winter break. So I'm kind of going to do a little middle school and primary because Mr. Lepaka's not here, but we wrapped up our winter concert series. So we had our middle school orchestra and chorus concert a couple of weeks ago, same with our middle school band concert. And then today we wrapped up with our 4th grade band and orchestra concert. So each of those were great opportunities to showcase all of our musicians for our students and singers with Mr. Connor, our band director, and Miss Messina, our orchestra director. So those were all wonderful events. So we're grateful to have them here at Fairview. Sorry, my notes just cut out. And then tonight we are have the 8th grade girls basketball championship. So our 8th grade girls are playing Culver and our JV girls are playing Parkview. So we're really excited for those teams to be competing tonight. Mr. Gillespie coaches our JV team and Mr. Stoneberg coaches our varsity. So the game's going on right now. Hopefully we'll be getting some updates throughout the meeting, but we're really proud of all of our athletes and our musicians and our singers and just all of our students for a great 4 weeks and looking forward to winter parties tomorrow, as Ms. Guliana said.
Hi there, and I'm really excited to report that our website has been updated to include our preschool information. Applications for our in-district residents will be live January 12th at 9 a.m. And then it will be open to non-district residents February 5th at 9 a.m. So really excited about that.
Good evening. So I'm excited to announce that this week, as of Monday, our Student Equity Advisory Committee launched our hashtag Be the Voice, No Place for Hate campaign. So what that's doing is specifically targeted to our middle school students this time, and then when we come back from winter break, we'll do another event that targets our primary school students. But just to raise more awareness of how to cultivate more of a community here at Fairview, where just like the hashtag says, where there is no hate. We have teamed up with the ADL organization with No Place for Hate, which is a pretty national organization that schools are participating with. So at the end of the year, we will get a delegation for the work that we've done. They'll send us like this huge banner that we can post somewhere around our school. We'll submit pictures and things like that as proof of the work that we're doing, as well as a report that they require. So that's really exciting. The students participated very well on Tuesday. We had a tabling event in the lunchroom. We'll have another one tomorrow for all of our middle school students. So that's that. That'll continue until Friday when we do a Spirit Day with the Student Council and we wear our Fairview gear. And then from the Fairview Parent Equity Advisory Group, we are starting our first book Club reading. We're going to be reading The Anti-Racist Kid, which is a children's book, but this program or this event is specifically for adults. And then parents can decide if they feel comfortable sharing this book with their kiddos or not. We'll have our first session on January 16th. So information about that will go out in the digital backpack. That's it.
And I'll just add two things. One is a lot of the parent groups on Facebook are getting a lot of buzz about the preschool, like moms wanting to meet up with other kids that will be entering the preschool. So it was really exciting to see all the talk already. So the website's working or whatever communication went out or however parents are aware. There's such excitement about it. So that made me really excited, but I wanted to share that with you. I know I shared it with Dr. Whitaker. And the only other thing I'll say is that the NEST programs have been such a huge hit. They've had one, I think, every week for the last like 3 weeks or so. And there is such a good turnout because the boys and I go, and there's so many other kids of all different ages. And today we made ornaments. Last week there was bookmarks that were made, and the week before it was a scavenger hunt. So it's really nice to see the space utilized. I know I've shared pictures, but it's very fun, and the kids enjoy being at school when school's out. So
exciting time to be a Falcon. All right, next item is our board discussion items. Would the superintendent please introduce the reports to the board?
Absolutely. Thank you. First up, we have Jack Hayes from Frederick Quinn Construction. Jack has been kind of a regular at our meetings, and we haven't seen him for a couple of months, but I think he has some good news to share with us this evening. So welcome, Jack.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Yes, there are some exciting things that are wrapping up. The concrete is going in at the front entryway at the new main entry by the library. So they were pouring concrete today on the flat work. They'll be doing that again tomorrow. So when you come back from Christmas break, there's going to be, some nice new features there to take advantage of. And then in the multi-purpose room, the temp wall that has been in because of some of the schedule issues is going in. The glass and the curtain wall is going in. So when you walk in there, you can see daylight now. So it's really beautiful. So there's some detailing that'll be going on over the next few days, but it really does transform the space. Even just walking into the building, it just looks completely different. So the fencing and gates are being wrapped up on the tennis courts. So that's good as well. And we've got a whole slew of activities scheduled for Christmas break for punch list and miscellaneous items that, we just haven't been able to wrap up quite yet. But we've got a lot of activities scheduled, and looking forward to taking advantage of the downtime for the school to put a lot of finishing touches on things. So a lot of good stuff happening. And with that, that'll put us kind of at a pause for the project, absent any miscellaneous items that we might need to come back for that are schedule dependent or operational dependent. So good stuff. Yeah. Any questions? Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for being here this evening.
Appreciate it.
The next item is the first reading of board policies. There are many of them included in your packet, 45 policies altogether, 24 of which are requiring changes beyond that of footnotes or cross-references. All of these changes are required by law, so there's really not a whole lot of discussion the board can have about these policies, with the exception of one that I highlighted in green, and I'll just draw your attention to it, and I would encourage you to take a look between now and next month. It's 7:160, student appearance, and this is for the board to contemplate whether or not we should make an addition to broaden the plagiarism portion of our student discipline code to include AI. So as many of you are aware, Raphael went to a workshop on it. AI has found its way into schools. Students are using it and sometimes substituting it for their own creativity or their own knowledge. And so the question is whether or not that should be something that the school says, we aren't comfortable with that, we're going to hold students accountable if they do use AI and can be proven to be using it, kind of considering it cheating or plagiarism. So that's the one thing that the board needs to consider, whether or not you want to add that additional language. We'll come back to these policies in January for approval, and we can discuss that one specifically in more detail. So if there are any questions on this first reading, please let me know. Otherwise, like I said, take a look at that one and we'll come back in January to discuss it further. Okay. Okay, finally, the superintendent's report was included in your packet, a lot of which we've already discussed. I'd be happy to field any questions that the board might have at this time. No? Okay, thank you.
Okay, next item is our board committees and representatives. Ed Red representative, Raphael, any updates?
Yeah, so I got some annual initiatives that we're going to be working on 2024, some updates on those. There's 3 items really that the Ed Red is really focused on. Number 1 is school polling places. So there's continued conversation with legislators around a proposal that will require a school board vote before a school becomes a polling place. So that's something that they're talking about. Special education funding, the Ed Red is collecting previous SPED funding proposals and kind of collaborating on next steps right now. And then also the third initiative that they're really looking to focus on in 24 is new arrival student grants. So continue to work with legislators on that. And then the next thing is the annual legislative dinner, which is coming up in January 29th at Stevenson's High School. The keynote speaker has not been announced yet, but I'll be attending that. I don't know if you will be, Cindy and Jeff.
Yeah, I think Jeff and I are both planning on attending. And if other board members are interested, please let us know. We'll get you signed up.
Yep. And that just came out. The registration just came out yesterday, or no, I'm sorry, on Monday. So that's available to register now. So let us know. We'll get you guys signed up.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, the IASB delegate report. I can say that Diana and I went to the IASB conference and sat through several presentations that were all very useful. Went through the exhibits as well, and there's some follow up from that I'll provide to Cindy in the coming weeks. NTSD and NTDSC representative.
So she said there was no update. There has not been a meeting since the last Fairview board meeting. Okay. Thank you.
PTA representative, Christine, were you able to attend the last meeting?
Yes, there was nothing more to add than what Sylvia spoke about earlier.
Okay. All right, regarding Freedom of Information Act requests, I can report there was one Freedom of Information Act received since the last board meeting, and it was responded to as required. So information items and correspondence, we do not have any submissions this month for information items and correspondence. That takes us to public comment. At this time, I'd like to invite members of the audience to address the board in public comment. If you wish to address the board, please come to the microphone and state your name. A 3-minute time limit will be set. The board secretary will keep time. Okay, there were no online comments received as well. Okay, can I have a motion and a second to approve the levy fiscal year 24 district levy?
So moved.
I'll second.
Secretary, will you please call roll call vote?
Sargon Giliana,
Yes.
Raphael Kabor,
Yes.
Saji Philip,
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Estera Tamuda,
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde,
Okay. Resolution authorizing a supplemental tax levy to pay the principal of and interest on outstanding limited bonds of the district. Mr. Fair, do you have any information for this resolution?
Not at this time, just what I previously discussed, but this is something that's being done because of the timing as is related to the levy and when the bonds were issued.
Okay, thank you. Will the secretary please call roll call vote?
Sargon Guliana.
Yes.
Raphael Kabor.
Yes.
Saji Philip.
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Estera Tamuda.
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde.
Yes.
And finally, moving to the approval of collective bargaining agreement between the Fairview 72 Board of Education and the Fairview Teachers Association for the 2024 through 2025, 2024 to 2025 through 2026, 2027 school years. Okay. Should we? Okay, sorry, going back to the resolution on a supplemental tax levy, can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second. Okay, I believe we've all voted. Okay, Secretary, can you call roll call vote?
Sargon Guliana.
Yes?
Raphael Kabor.
Yes.
Saji Philip.
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Estera Tamuda.
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde.
Yes.
So moving on, approval of collective bargaining agreement between the Fairview 72 Board of Education and Fairview Teachers Association for the 2024, 2025 through 2026, 2027 school years. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
Secretary, can you please call roll call vote?
Sargon Guliana.
Yes?
Raphael Kabor.
Yes.
Saji Philip.
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Estera Tamuda.
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde.
Yes.
Does anyone have any items for future consideration? Okay. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting of the Fairview Board of Education at 7:30 p.m.?
So moved.
I'll second.
Secretary, can you please call roll call vote?
Sargon Guliana.
Yes.
Raphael Kabor.
Yes.
Saji Philip.
Yes.
Christine Soika, yes. Estera Tamuda.
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde.
Yes.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.